Daniel, I think everyone has a money memory from when they were young, a moment that shaped how they think about finance. And for me, it was watching my parents sit at the kitchen table with a whole shoebox full of receipts, trying to figure out their budget. It always seemed so stressful and so complicated.
I can relate to that. For me, it was the first time I heard the term 401k at my first job. It felt like a secret code. Everyone was using these acronyms, APR, Roth, FICO, and I just nodded along, too intimidated to admit I had no idea what they were talking about.
And that feeling, that sense of being on the outside, looking in on a conversation that you know is so very important, is exactly why we're here today.
From First Century Bank, this is Making Sense of Your Sense. I'm Daniel Hill.
And I'm Shanna Browning. Welcome to our very first episode. But before we dive into financial topics in the coming weeks, we want to start with our story. Not just our story as your host, but the story of the institution we represent.
That's right, because to understand our mission, you have to understand our roots. And our roots in this community run very, very deep.
And since we're going to be your guides on this journey, we believe it's important you know who we are. We're not just the voices that you're hearing, but we're your neighbors. Daniel, let's start with you. Tell me your story.
Thanks, Shanna. Well, I'm not a born and raised East Tennessean, but I've been proud to call this area my home since 2007. My journey in banking started almost 20 years ago, right out of high school, working part-time in a small community bank in Mississippi. I continued working in banking on and off all through college, so that community-first mindset is really in my blood. I joined the First Century Bank family back in 2013, starting out as a new accounts representative in our Powell office. Today, my role is a unique combination. I'm the security officer and the marketing coordinator for the bank. And those two roles, as different as they sound, really are the two halves of why I'm so passionate about this podcast. As a marketer, my job is to take complex banking ideas and break them down into clear, manageable information that our communities can actually use. But as the security officer, I see the other side of things. I'm involved in protecting our customers, not just from physical threats, but also from digital ones. I see the schemes that criminals use to exploit people through fraud and scams, and it's become crystal clear to me that the single most powerful tool we have to fight back is education. Customer education is truly my passion, and I believe this podcast is one of the best ways that we can help our community stay safe and be successful.
What a powerful motivation, and I couldn't agree more. That combination of clear communication and a passion for protection is perfect for this.
Thanks, Shanna. What about you? Tell us your story and what really drives you.
Well, Daniel, for me, this is personal. I'm a proud East Tennessee native, born and raised just down the road in Knoxville. My roots here are deep, and I've spent my entire 33-year career in the banking and finance industry right here in our community. I am the Community Outreach Manager for First Century Bank, and that title really gets to the heart of what I'm passionate about. I've been fortunate enough to see this industry from just about every angle imaginable. I started my journey on the teller line, getting to know customers face-to-face and hearing their personal stories. From there, I've worked behind the scenes as a credit analyst and a loan processor. I've been a consumer and a private client lender, and I've even specialized in those nasty areas like the 401ks you talked about. Through all those different roles, one thing becomes incredibly clear. You see where people get stuck. And you hear the same questions, the same worries, and the same desire for clear, straightforward answers. And that's why I'm truly excited about this podcast. It's a chance to answer those questions on a larger scale. And for me, the spirit of helping extends beyond the bank's walls. Being deeply involved in our community is a huge part of my life, whether it's serving on the advisory board for Dogwood Arts, being a part of the Alzheimer's Association's executive leadership team, or serving on the board for the beautiful and historic Bijou Theater in downtown Knoxville. As an alum of both Introduction and Leadership Knoxville, I've learned so much about what makes this region special. I believe a community is strongest when people share their knowledge and to lift each other up. And that's exactly what we're trying to do here for you. Share what we know to help you feel more confident and in control of your financial future.
And you know, Shanna, that shared mission that we both have, it's not something new for First Century Bank. It's the same mission that has guided us for over a century. Our story begins in the Appalachian Mountains of East Tennessee, right here in the town of Tazewell.
And the year was 1894. A group of local leaders established Claiborne National Bank. The bank's very first president was a Claiborne County native named George Montgomery, and under his leadership, the bank began to prosper.
So from its very first day, it was an institution built by the community, for the community. And the name evolved over time to reflect just that.
And then it did. In 1919, the name was changed to Claiborne County Bank. That name would stick for a long time, becoming synonymous with banking in this area for decades. And it wasn't until the late 1980s that another change happened. The chairman at that time, Glenn Yoakum, decided to expand the bank services into Hancock and Union counties.
Meaning its commitment was now expanding to serve multiple counties in the region.
Exactly. And as a result, the name was updated to First Claiborne Bank. But then another meaningful name change came in 1999. The bank was celebrating a century of service. And to honor that beautiful, wonderful, incredible achievement, the name was changed to the one we all know today, First Century Bank.
And you know, that commitment to grow and service has never stopped. Today, First Century Bank proudly serves communities with 9 locations across 6 counties here in East Tennessee. Shanna, earlier you mentioned the name Glenn Yoakum, and it is honestly, it's impossible to tell the story of the bank without telling his story. It's a story that's so important, it's literally part of our logo.
That's right. It is, and our symbol, the oak tree, comes directly from the legacy of Glenn Yoakum. His journey with the bank started in the fall of 1936. He was a 23-year-old man from Arthur, Tennessee, and he was hired as a teller. And there's that teller again. We all start as tellers. At the time, he was one of the only 5 employees in the entire bank.
From a 5-person team to where we are today, it's absolutely incredible.
It really is. He was proud to be a banker, but as World War II escalated, he felt the call to serve his country, and he joined the Navy. After the war ended, Lieutenant Yoakum returned home to Claiborne County, and his position at the bank was there waiting for him.
So his service to the country was matched by his service to the community right here at home.
Mr. Yoakum became a seasoned banker, earning the respect of the entire community and his co-workers. When the bank's president, J.T. Hughes, passed away, it was such a natural fit for Mr. Yoakum to be named the next president.
And you know, just like many of the bank's leaders, his service went so far beyond the bank's walls.
Far, far beyond. To his community, he was the definition of a servant leader. He served 28 years on the Claiborne County School Board, many of those as chairman. He served as Claiborne County judge, and he served 2 terms in the Tennessee State Senate.
He was also an entrepreneur, wasn't he? He understood the local economy because he was, well, part of it.
Absolutely. True to his farming roots, he knew how important cattle and tobacco were to the community. He purchased the Banner Tobacco Warehouse and the Tazewell Stock Barn, which quickly became some of the most prosperous merchants in East Tennessee. And then in 1952, he established Yoakum Oil Company, a distributorship for Shell Oil. He was woven into the fabric of this community's success.
And that brings us to the story of the oak tree.
It absolutely does. In 1990, Mr. Yoakum suffered a life-ending heart attack. When the Claiborne Progress paid tribute to him, they did so with the front page heading that had resonated ever since. It read, "A mighty oak has fallen."
Wow.
It was the perfect analogy. His life, in so many ways, resembled the oak tree. He had strong roots in this community, a solid moral core, and he stood tall with pride and dignity. And as a lasting tribute to his incredible legacy, the oak tree was added to our bank's logo. and it's a constant reminder of the foundation he built.
And that legacy today remains a family affair. It's carried on by his daughter, Eleanor Yoakum, and his grandson, our current CEO, Rob Barger.
That's right. And the commitment to serve is evident in Miss Yoakum's own actions. She has served in Tennessee state government as the Commissioner of Personnel and as Chief of Staff to the governor. She once said, and I'm quoting here, "The bank was more than bricks and mortar or even a business. It was a family of people serving the community in a spirit that was unique and special to us."
That philosophy, it really gets to the heart of what community banking is all about. And it's a philosophy that was passed down to her son, Rob.
And so it was. Rob began his career at the bank in 1998. And in 2008, he was promoted to the CEO, taking the helm at a very challenging time.
That's an understatement. 2008 was the beginning of the nation's financial crisis. Just like his grandfather, Glenn, who led the bank through the Great Depression, Rob was faced with a very difficult economic environment right as he stepped into leadership.
And just like his grandfather, he led the bank right through it. Those first 6 years were some of the toughest in the bank's industries. But under Rob's leadership and with a strong executive team and Eleanor's support, the bank returned to prosperity. It proved once again that those strong roots matter.
Today, the legacies of the past are not forgotten. Our roots are strong, creating a solid foundation for an institution that stands tall with pride and dignity, just like the oak tree.
And that brings us right back to why we're sitting here today. We wanted to share that story so you understand that this podcast isn't just a new marketing idea. It's a modern expression of a promise that was made in 1894.
That promise is to be a stable, trustworthy partner for our community. In the past, that meant providing a physical vault and a friendly face. Today, it also means providing clear, accessible knowledge to help you navigate a complex financial world.
And this podcast is our commitment to you. We'll break down those topics, cut through the jargon, and bring on experts from our team and our communities. This is your podcast, and we want to talk to you about what matters most to you.
And that's why we've set up a dedicated email address for this show, podcast@fcbtn.com. If you have a question you've always been afraid to ask or a topic that you'd like us to cover, please send it to us.
And we're going to ask you to please take a moment right now to subscribe or follow Making Sense of Your Sense on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're listening.
Thank you for joining us today, for letting us share our story with you.
And again, thank you so much. We do look forward to helping you make some sense of your sense.